Hello students, welcome back. As part of this 7th unit of Andhra Pradesh geography, that is agriculture, the last topic within agriculture, that is part 3 of this Andhra Pradesh geography, zero budget natural farming. The importance such that I have given to this zero budget natural farming, the reason why I have taken it separately is because of its importance, because of its environmental importance, because of its environmental importance. This topic is going to be very much important as it was mentioned in Food and Agriculture Organization of USA, UNO, and Indian Economic Survey and Andhra Pradesh Economic Survey. That is the reason why I have taken separately this topic as an individual subtopic within this agriculture. Zero budget natural farming. The name itself says that zero budget means without any credit, without any credit. The It is a practice of agriculture without taking any credit. And natural farming is a natural way and environment friendly way of practicing agriculture. This zero budget natural farming has been initiated by this person, this Padma Shri awardee, who became very much familiar these days because of his thought of environment friendly agricultural practice. He is Subhash Palekar. Subhash Palekar. Subhash Palekar, who is the father of father of ZBNF, popularly known as father of ZBNF. This zero budget natural farming as a peasant movement and environment friendly agriculture practice has been started in the state of Karnataka. Initially, first it was started in Karnataka and later it was spread to Maharashtra. And in the year 2015 and 16 financial year, Andhra Pradesh also adapted this environment friendly zero budget natural farming. So, zero budget natural farming is associated with Subhash Palekar, a Padma Shri awardee that was also mentioned in socio-economic survey. Let us move on into deeper aspects of this zero budget natural farming. What exactly is zero budget natural farming? These numbers which I have been put here have been taken from ZBNF website, Andhra Pradesh government, ZBNF. You could also search the website ZBNF. So what exactly is ZBNF is? It is a natural environment friendly agriculture practice. Agriculture practice. That is simple definition. It is environment friendly, natural way of practicing agriculture. It composes of four tires or four wheels four wheels of ZBNF that is going to I'm going to explain in the next slide. But here you just understand so far by the time I'm explaining to you about this ZBNF as part of our Andhra Pradesh geography, 5 lakh sorry 5 lakh 80,000 farmers have been practicing this ZBNF in Andhra Pradesh by the time this July 25th or 26th 2020. A number of villages that were practicing this ZBNF have been increased to 3011 villages, and the ZBNF practicing area is 2 lakh 60,000 hectares. 2 lakh 60,000 hectares has been practicing this ZBNF. So the name itself suggests ZBNF means zero budget. That means without taking any credit. How can we practice agriculture without taking any credit? That is the logic there. Zero means zero here denotes zero budget here denotes no need of any credit, no need of taking any credit from either bank or non-banking corporations or from any money lender. No money is required, and a natural farming in the sense no any chemical fertilizers or pesticides are used in this ZBNF. So how can we do without taking any credit, without using any money, without spending, investing any money? How can you do agriculture practice, or how you can practice the agriculture without deploying some kind of chemical fertilizers or pesticides? How can we do that? That is the actual idea of this zero budget natural farming. Here, if you see these four wheels of zero budget natural farming, you could understand that how can we practice this without having any kind of money. These four wheels are the four principles of ZBNF. Four principles of ZBNF is number one, Bijamrutam. Bijamrutam. Before that, let me explain why this idea of ZBNF have been came into existence. When I am saying the Indian geography, when I am teaching Indian geography, then you could have learned that one of the major consequences that green revolution, that is spectacular increase in the food grain production in India, that is green revolution, that was because of the Norman Borlaug and MS Swaminathan in case of India, when high yielding varieties, chemicals, fertilizers and pesticides have been using that results into the growth of food grains in India has been spectacularly increased. That is, up to then, the India's status is just a begging bowl. We have been getting some kind of wheat from other countries to feed the large population of India, so that we have a stature of India is a begging bowl. From that status of begging bowl to India became the supplier of food grains globally. India not only became self-sufficient, but it became the one of the leading exporters of food grains globally. How we bought this change? This is because of green revolution. When high yielding varieties have been coupled with the already persisting government policies such as community development program, intensive agriculture area program, command area program, intensive agriculture area program, when these all kind of programs when coupled with high yielding varieties, of course land reforms have been by the time have been taken place into India. All this results into very much increase in food grain productions in India. But at the same time, one of the major negative consequences of this green revolution is environmental impact. Environmental impact. When this environmental impact because of using of pesticides, highly polluting fertilizers and pesticides results into soil pollution. Intensive irrigation results into depletion of groundwater resources, and this green revolution is not uniformly successful all over India. This was successful in those regions which have already better soil conditions, better irrigation facilities, and economically better position of farmers. That's why, if you see in India, the green revolution is not uniformly successful. Punjab, Haryana have been benefited very much. In case of Andhra Pradesh, Godavari Delta region have been benefited very much. In case of Tamil Nadu, the entire east coastal region of Tamil Nadu has been benefited. But not all the areas have got these benefits uniformly. This results into the balance. That means the differences between economical conditions of farmers have also been widened. Rich became richer, poor became poorer. That's why many people left agriculture as an occupation and migrated to other nearby urban areas. That results into rural urban migration, widening of economical gap between some farmers, some communities. This also results sometimes the atrocities on the downtrodden section, atrocities on poorer farmers, and grabbing the lands by different types of different means like that, threatening, even sometimes murdering the farmers also. That's why that is known as red phase of red phase of green revolution. That is also there. One subtopic is there, red phase of green revolution. So because of all these negative consequences, there bought an idea that the agriculture has to be practiced in in association with the normal environmental condition. That's why we bought this idea, and then onwards, second green revolution, evergreen revolution, these kind of ideas have been brought into picture. So zero budget natural farming is also one such kind of idea where the agriculture has to be practiced with sustainability, with the idea of sustainability and environment friendly agriculture practice. So since then, when the negative consequences of Green Revolution have been very much clearly felt on the society by the end of the 1999, the second Green Revolution idea has been bought by the then NDA government, then NDA BJP government, which was headed by Vajpayee at the time. He also, the 1999 BJP government also bought that scheme of second Green Revolution, but that was not bought into implementation because of the fall of the government. Then UPA government came, and all the political scenario has been changed. Though the second green revolution, which is environmental friendly, increasing of food grain production, does not came into picture, the idea, logics, and principles behind this second green revolution have been implemented by many states. So, being getting influenced from this natural way on ecological friendly way of agriculture practice, Sri Padma Shri awardee Subhash Palekar bought this idea of zero budget natural farming. This is the background how this zero budget natural farming has been originated. This zero budget natural farming composes of four wheels. Four wheels are the four principles of zero budget natural farming. Number one, Bijamrutam. Bijamrutam. Number two, Jivamrutam. Number three, Achadana. Achadana. Achadana, you could also say it as mulching. Achadana. Number four, Vapasa. Vapasa. What are these terms? See, whenever you are sowing seeds, the soil should be treated. Soil should be treated either by ploughing, either by giving proper fertilizer so that the fertility, nutritional capacity, proper oxygen aeration of the soil will be increased. Instead of doing that kind of proper oxygen aeration, instead of doing that through chemical fertilizers and pesticides, the idea here is spraying Bijamrutam. Bijamrutam, what is Bijamrutam? Bijamrutam is a cocktail. It's a cocktail that is a solution prepared with cow dung. Cow dung is mixed with cow urine. The two, not all Jersey cows, Murrah cows, not all those things. Desi cows. That means the cows which we see in our villages, in our streets, in our grounds. The cow dung and cow urine will be mixed with water. This will be mixed with water, and this along with jaggery, or even sometimes some authors, some data also saying that curd. So this kind of mixture is prepared, this kind of cocktail is prepared, that is Bijamrutam, and this Bijamrutam will be spread over the agricultural fields. That solution will be prepared over this agricultural field. So what happens is this kind of preparation, this kind of solution results into growth of earthworms, growth of earthworms, so that naturally the vermicompost will be developed and the soil fertility, soil nutritional capacity will be enriched. That is Bijamrutam. Then Jivamrutam. Even in synthetic agriculture practice or the present day traditional agriculture practice, what we do is we treat our seeds with some kind of chemicals, so that the any kind of fungal infections, any kind of fungal material or bacterial material that is present over the seeds will be killed. So that is present way of practicing. Instead of utilizing the chemical chemical solutions to treat our seeds, we here prepare some kind of inoculum that is also made by cow dung, cow dung and cow urine, plus also lime, natural lime, Nimma. So after mixing all these, the inoculum will be prepared. Inoculum in the sense some kind of solution with living material. So this inoculum, all the seeds which we are going to sow on our fields will be treated. They will be treated in the Jivamrutam, and this Jivamrutam will also be utilized. The seeds which were kept in that Jivamrutam will be then sowed over the field. That is Jivamrutam. Jivamrutam is to enrich the seeds Bijamrutam is to enrich the soils. Bijamrutam idea is to enhance the capacity of the soils. Jivamrutam is to enrich the the seedling capacity of the seeds capacity. Then mulching. Normally, even now, the mulching is practiced. That is, synthetic covers will be placed over the agricultural land. Why we do that? The soil moisture will be protected. If direct sunlight falls on there, the soil moisture will be left over. Soil moisture will be evaporated. Instead of that, what we present day do is synthetic covers. Synthetic fibers and covers will be generally placed with small holes. These covers will be placed over the soils. Instead of using mulching means soil covering to protect the moisture. The mulching is generally done with the synthetic material. Instead of synthetic material, here we use achadana. Achadana means it is a rice straw and wood straw, dry grass. All these will be placed over the soil. So what happens is the soil moisture will be preserved. When all these material is present over the soil moisture will be preserved, and so that the soil moisture is maintained. Whereas the synthetic way we use polythene covers, instead of that we use natural material. Then fourth one is Vapasa. With all these Bijamrutam, Jivamrutam and Achadana, Vapasa is microclimate. Microclimate. We heard about the major climate: atmosphere, troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere. And what is this microclimate? Microclimate, whenever the plant is present like this, these plant roots will be go into soil. This entire region where soil roots are present, here you need to provide some kind of proper aeration and proper nutrients, and water will be provided to this particular zone only. So the environment which exists within the soil particle in that root area is known as microclimate. So microclimate will be maintained. So when microclimate is maintained, then the all the requirements which we generally considered for the better production and better productivity will be maintained. These are four wheels: Bijamrutam, Jivamrutam, mulching, and Vapasa. These are the four wheels of zero budget natural farming. You could also just pass and see if you want. Then no, not necessary. All this critical explanation which I gave is more than enough. Then this is the statements taken from the economic survey of Andhra Pradesh. Here in this economic survey of Andhra Pradesh, the overall advantages of practicing this zero budget natural farming is reducing the cost of cultivation, isn't it? If you want to if you want to fertilize the soils, then fertilizers has to be purchased. Then urea, pesticides all need to be purchased. These synthetic fertilizers are costly. They are costly. When instead of that you are using natural dung, natural cow dung, natural cow urine, which generally that could be get from our local region itself. So what happens is the cost of cultivation will be drastically reduced. It makes agriculture more climate resilient. More climate resilient in the sense, see, climate resilient agriculture is a practice of doing agriculture that should not be impacted by the changing climatic condition. Even if the climate is changing, then during the dry conditions, water will be evaporated. Here, water evaporation can be curtailed by using natural way. Otherwise, during any kind of pest attack, when the climate has been changing drastically, when the temperature of a particular region may be recorded high in that particular season, it would not be impacted, because climate changes also results into less intake of fertilizers, less intake of pesticides. When this climate resilient agriculture is practiced, we should not worry about all those kind of climate changing problems and all. Then producing safe food, no pesticides and chemical traces could be found on the in the food material. No entering of these chemicals into the food material, and that food material when we eat, that chemical traces will be entered into our healthy body, and that results into maximum failure of kidney problems, lung problems, headache problems, all these kind of problems could be addressed. Even Ludhiana University recently, Punjab based Ludhiana University recently when studied the paddy, when the paddy of Punjab and Haryana region have been studied, it was found that very deadly harmful chemicals have been present in the paddy crop of the Punjab and Haryana region. Why? So much extensive chemical fertilizers have been using there. To address that, the problem of this safe food, healthy food could be produced. And free of chemicals, yes, free of chemicals naturally results into environment sustainability, no environmental pollution, no soil pollution, no water pollution, all these kind of no weed pollution, all these kind of advantages however was there. Reducing the migration, when agriculture is not remunerative, that results into migration of youth from rural area to urban area, that results into more pressure in urban areas, urbanization, unplanned urbanization results into growth of slums, slum associated, slum cascading crimes and urbanization problems. If this kind of zero budget natural farming, which is very cost efficient and negligible cost is required for the practice of this agriculture, then the youth will stay there itself because agriculture is remunerative. With less investment, you are getting more production. That's why this could also curtail rural urban migration. Reverse migration, that results into urban to rural migration. Enhances soil health. When soil health is enhanced automatically in the upcoming years also, agriculture will be very remuneratively practiced and water will also be conserved. Regenerating coastal ecosystems and biodiversity, soil biodiversity atlas. Soil Biodiversity Atlas is prepared by Worldwide Fund. Worldwide Fund is an international agency. This Worldwide Fund publishes one report, that is Earth Planet Report. In this Earth Planet Report, a sub-report called Soil Biodiversity Atlas will be prepared. According to Soil Biodiversity Atlas, Indian soil biodiversity. What is soil biodiversity? Different microorganisms, macroorganisms, multicellular organisms that are present within soil. For example, earthworms, nitromonas, azotobacter, other fungi, other small kind of insects, termites that are naturally present in soil is known as natural biodiversity of soil. This natural biodiversity is in fact healthy for the growth of better production of agriculture. This because of intensive use of fertilizer that results into death of biodiversity, declining biodiversity of the soils. So when this kind of practice is maintained ZBNF, then automatically soil biodiversity will be enhanced and regenerated. Enhancing human health, otherwise the farmers who are using harmful pesticides and chemicals, when they are spraying, it will be entered into their nasal cavities, oral cavities, and into food chain that results into health problems, headache problems, migraine problems, other lung infections. These kind of problems will also be automatically controlled and human health is also maintained. These are overall advantages. Then, according to economic survey, the benefits to the farmers if this zero budget natural farming is practiced. This is a long term. This is long term idea of benefits. Long term benefits that are going to be attained. That are going to be attained in 5 years term. Reduced cost of cultivation. Yes, cost of cultivation will be reduced. A typical farmer will get his cost will be reduced by 13,500. In the second year, the cost will be saved. That is, savings will be cost will be reduced by 14,000, 16,000. At the end of 5 years, the cost will be reduced by 20,000. Then interest savings, because of getting credit from the banks or the money lenders, interest in the first year will be saved by 1600 rupees, and this interest savings will be increased by 2430 by the fifth year. Then higher yield. This is very important. Yield also increase. Up to last time also, even in 2018-19 economic survey, when I have been teaching in other institutions, I have taken some sample set, that is crop cutting experiments, that is also provided by economic survey. Based on these crop cutting experiments, we have seen 88% of farmers got benefited by practicing this zero budget natural farming. in 9% of cases, zero budget natural farming, though production is not increased, but their income has been increased because of the importance, because of the significance we are having for organic foods. ఆర్గానిక్ ఫుడ్స్ ఎక్కువ మనం కొంటూ ఉంటాం కాబట్టి ప్రొడక్షన్ అనేది ఇంక్రీజ్ కాకపోయినా వాటిపైన ఉండే డిమాండ్ తో రైతుకు కావాల్సిన డబ్బులన్నీ వచ్చేస్తున్నాయి. 88% కేసెస్ లో జెడ్బిఎన్ఎఫ్ అనేది ప్రొడక్షన్ పెంచింది. 99% కేసెస్ లో ప్రొడక్షన్ వాజ్ నాట్ ఇంక్రీస్డ్ బట్ ది remunerative prices have been came to the farmer, and only in 2% of cases 2 or 3 2 to 3%, isn't it? 88 plus 9 98 97, only in 3% of cases then the farmer does not have higher yield, neither have higher yield nor have better remuneration and better profits and all. Only 3%, negligible. This is actually what mentioned in 2018-19 economic survey. But in 2019-20 economic survey, it was mentioned that yield will be increased. See, 500 kgs have been 500, about 500 with the higher yield, about 500 rupees have been increasing every year, and by the fifth year the yield will be increased, and that in monetary terms 7,000. Income, intercrops. In zero budget natural farming, we also practice intercropping method. Intercropping means growing more than one crop at the same time on the same field. So with the help of intercropping, this 12,000 initially to 16,800 can be attained. Fairer returns 4,000, additionally to the present day, additionally 4,000 to the present, compared to the present practice, additionally 4,271 rupees will be additionally increased by the end of fifth year. Total benefits to the farmers is 50,000 by the fifth year, and first year the total benefits including savings, including interest savings, and with the production will be 32,000 rupees. Based on this data, before this table, one paragraph has been written. Based on our internal studies, economic survey mentioned that based on our internal studies, the benefits that farmer is going to get in 5 years. అని చెప్పి ఈ మాట చెప్పారు. సో వాట్ ఆర్ దోస్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ ఇంటర్నల్ స్టడీస్ అనేది మనకు తెలియదు కనుక just we will take it for granted that where data have been the data which was provided in economic survey will be taken for granted. Then the global recognition, ZPNF has been important because of its global recognition. In what way it was globally recognized? Paris Peace Forum, where zero budget natural farming has been recognized as one of the 10 projects. Then World Future Council selected APZBNF as one of the most 30 promising policies in agroecology. Agroecology in the sense thinking about the environment, that is ecology, practicing agriculture with respect to and in friendly way with the ecology. So one of the most 30 promising, one of the 30 best practices, agriculture practices in the world. And Global Alliance for Future of Food selected APZBNF as one of the 22 beacons of hope. Beacons ante మనకు beacons అంటే it is a kind of light, ఒక చిహ్నం. ఐఏఎస్ లకు ఐపీఎస్ లకు తర్వాత మినిస్టర్లకు పైన ఒక లైట్ ఉంటుంది చూడండి, రెడ్ కలర్ లైట్, దట్ ఈస్ నోన్ యాజ్ బెకాన్. సో ఇట్ ఈస్ వన్ ఆఫ్ ది బెకాన్, ప్రపంచానికి దారి చూపించే ఒక వేగు చుక్క లాంటిది అన్నట్టుగా చెప్పారు. సో వాట్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ గ్లోబల్ రికగ్నిషన్ జెడ్బిఎన్ఎఫ్ ఈస్ హ్యావింగ్ అనేది ఒక ఎకనామిక్స్ లో మెన్షన్ చేశారు కాబట్టి వీ నీడ్ టు అండర్స్టాండ్. ద నీతి ఆయోగ్ has congratulated government of Andhra Pradesh for its efforts in taking this zero budget natural farming. Himachal Pradesh, Karnataka, Rajasthan, these states visited AP and interested to adopt zero budget natural farming. Karnataka lo already introduced chesaru, but Karnataka government has not yet introduced. This was taken as an experiment in Karnataka, and later because of its huge success in Andhra Pradesh, many states have been interested to adapt this kind of practice in their states also by taking Andhra Pradesh as model. Indonesian Ministry delegation also spoke about ZBNF. Then Global Environmental Facility submitted in United Nations Agency Global, this zero budget natural farming have been set as one of the important friendly ecological friendly way of agriculture practice. That was also mentioned in UNO. Then other websites also mentioned about, as I said, Food and Agricultural Organization, World Health Organization, United Nations Environmental Program, World Food Program, convention for biological diversity. All these also Union Ministry also congratulated APJPNF. These are the recognition the JPNF is having. So this huge better agricultural practice which we are practicing in Andhra Pradesh is very much important, and that is to be celebrated issue in Andhra.